Hi, Cheryl. Oh, you can't make it. They will be on my profile. Okay, well, I'm a couple of minutes early. Gonna make sure that get everybody tagged. And playback will be available, Cheryl. Hi, Sue. I'm a couple of minutes early, giving it time for everybody to jump on. Cheryl can't make it tonight, but I sent her the link to my profile so she can find the cards. I've been working a lot. I've missed everybody. Okay, I'm going to play the profile. I'm playing my profile. I am going to play the intro and let everybody get a moment to jump on. And we're going to get started. And as always, if you are watching the playback or if you're joining live, this is my link tree. There's a link down below in the description of the video so that you can click on that and it will take you to all the vendors that I use. So if you see me using a tool or a product, I will mention the company and tell you where it's at and you will find it. Everything is listed in alphabetical order, so it's super easy to find. One simple click will take you right over to any of those products that I use and their companies. Hi, Mary Lou. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Louise. And Cheryl. I see Cheryl's still in there. She said she can't make it tonight. She left me a message on YouTube. So, okay. Several cards that I did for you guys. I did an extra one here, but I did not put it in tonight's. I didn't do a second one to put together. This one is a foiling card. You can see all that gorgeous foil there. This is a Summer Memories card. It's on my profile, and I did some foiling on the turtle in there. You can see that. So that is one card that you guys have gotten from me for this week. And if you want the link to that one, I posted it, I think, in the group. There is the link to that one. All the cards and all their links are on my Design Space profile. And if you guys need that, that is also in the description of the video. So we're going to put that together. And then we have this hello card with the little vellum butterfly. It's layered up. My lighting is there. There we go. It helps if I turn it the right direction, right? So, nice little card here, layered up. Hi, Dream Big. And on the inside, it says, sending happy thoughts your way today. So, we're going to be putting that one together. Then we have, this is a birthday for sister, but you can change the sentiments out for anything you want. This is mainly print and cut, but it's a really pretty card. I was inspired to do this by a card that B.B. Cameron from Spellbinders did. So lift it up, and then you can see through the lattice, little thing there. And it says, "I'm hoping every happiness will always come your way. Happy birthday." Very pretty card. I love it. Hi, Charlene. And then this one was inspired too, and I forgot. I think this one might have been BB Cameron too. I don't know. I went Pinterest surfing, guys. That's what I did. But I have the little vellum butterflies on here, and I set those up for print and cut because now we can print and cut text again. And then this one I also did as a birthday, but you can do whatever you want. Layered up the tulips on there, and it's an open end. And then I used a vellum to put my sentiment on the inside because I used the debossing tool. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. Yeah, it's going to show up. I used the debossing tool and made the little pickets on the front of the card look like wood grain. So we'll be covering that too. So I thought it came out really cute with the not having to use a lot of paper or needing any specialty. You can use scraps for your flowers and stuff. So nice little touch on that card. Hi, Cindy. Which one did you want to make, Dream? And then we have a Father's Day card. And this is kind of masculine. Well, it's not kind of masculine. It is a masculine card. And it was Pinterest inspired, but I put my own spins on them, of course. Got a little frog down there. And it says, "Don't know what I'd do without you, Dad. Happy Father's Day," on that one on the inside. So we're going to put that together. So when we're putting these together, guys, ask your questions on how I did it or what I did, and I'll show you in Design Space if we need to do anything. And then today I sent this one out. This is a little Converse tennis shoe, and it says Happy Father's Day on there 3 times. It's kind of hard from a distance, but in person it's plenty big enough. It shows, makes it look like the sneaker, and I actually did use a shoelace in that. And then it says when it comes to world's greatest dad, you're a shoe-in. So a little dad pun in there on that one. Your sister's birthday, the sister's birthday, okay. Because I have a couple of birthday cards in here, and we're going to start putting all of these together. So as we put them together, ask questions, all of that good stuff. I'm going to start with this hello card. I saw this, again, everything was Pinterest inspired. But most of it was made with dies, and we didn't have that die for this lattice work, so I created it in Design Space. And let's just pop over, and I'll go over it really quickly with you guys in case you want to change something up on those cards. You can, and then we'll assemble this one. Right here is the floral hello card, and it, of course, it has 05252023. Today's date on there, and I'm just going to click on customize. So if you want to do something like this, you see one of these on Pinterest and you're not quite sure how, I did this one, and I did this one as a combine so that you could undo that, undo the unite, and then not have this piece on there so it's completely open. So you can change this card up for anything you want. If you want to change the top piece, hi Swirly. If you want to change the top piece and not use this, you can do that. I just went ahead and welded that in there so that we wouldn't have to cut all those extra holes that we were just going to cover up, right? No need for that. And it makes the makes it a little bit easier to align your flower up on there when you've got something to attach it to, instead of all those little bitty lines. So that's what I did on that one, and all I did was simply create a shadow of this, figure out where I wanted it, get it placed on the card front, and then I welded that piece in, or united it. I just combined it, did not weld it. Weld cannot be undone, and combine can. So if you want to change yours up, super easy to do. If you want to change this cutout pattern, it was pretty easy. I basically put in a rectangle, and then I did another square and made it a little bit larger. Let me see. I just made it larger, And then I twisted it or rotated it till I got the angle that I wanted. And I duplicated my rectangle, of course, and then I took this piece that came out of it and that I sliced out. I'll just go ahead and slice this. This little piece that I sliced out, I took that, and that's what I flipped it on there. Flip it horizontal. I know that's not clean, but you'll have a clean edge because that won't be there. And then I aligned that in there like I wanted it, the size that I wanted it, and I sliced it out. And then I just welded all of my little rectangular lines to the inside. So it's super easy to create. Oops. I don't want to keep any of that. And I slid. There we go. So it's super easy to create if you want to create this card. Super simple. You're just going to slice that piece out or any other shape. It doesn't have to be this shape that I used. It could be any shape that you want this to be. If you wanted to do a circle and then put those lattice lines in there, you could do that. Super easy card to build. Okay. And then I printed my hello, and I used the color finder and found the color that was on this print and cut, and that's what I used on my hello right there. And then I matched up my cardstock to it. Worked like a charm. So I know you guys have seen us do that with the eyedropper. You can do the color finders and match all of that stuff up. I am not going to save this. I'm going to go back to my stuff. Let's pop over and put this one together. Got little pieces of cards everywhere. Let's see. There we are. So super easy. I used a printable vellum. Because I got some printable vellum on a clearance item. So that's what I used for my butterfly. But you can print on vellum. And I just changed the pen type that was on this butterfly. I just changed it to, I think it was cactus pink, and flattened it to the vellum. And then I print and cut, of course. And I'm just using, this is I want to say this is close to my heart, but it's old, so it may not be available anymore. But it's just a small dotted pattern is what I used for this to do a background. But you can use just a different color cardstock, lighter or darker. Pattern, no pattern, florals, whatever you want to do on this one. So you're just going to line that up. Well, I say I am. There. Trying to get it to slide on me. It doesn't want to slide. There we go. So we've got that done. Then you're going to take your floral and you're going to glue it right onto the front. This card is so stinking easy, guys. The hardest part of this was deciding where to place the rhinestones and the Nuvo drops. And my print and cut, don't pay attention to mine. My print and cut was off. I did calibrate it today, finally. And so, but with this being the white background and this edge offset being white, it really didn't show bad. And you can pop this up. I didn't pop it up on this one, but you can pop this end up and glue this side down. That's what I did. Or you can pop the whole thing up. That's up to you as well. And then my hello, I did not, because it's so intricate and small, I did not pop dot this up. But if you have the little micro pop dots, I have them. I just didn't have time to play with them. You can pop the sentiment up as well. Just stick that on. And oops, I almost glued that to the front without meaning to. I'm going to glue this whole panel onto the card front. Yep, that's the front. and then the butterfly. And I kind of folded mine in half. I don't think, did I? Yes, I did. I used foam dots to put this on with, but I cut it in half. I'm just going to cut that one in half. And I don't worry about it showing through the vellum because I knew I was going to be using Nuvo drops on it. So, but if you don't have Nuvo drops, use art glitter glue or your Barely glue and just glue it down wherever you want it to sit. Because when it dries, the art glitter against white doesn't show a glue dot or a glue very bad. Even the foam dots are really hard to see against the white. So that was that one. And then I used, these are the crystal drops, Nuvo crystal drops in bubblegum blush. And I just put them wherever I thought they needed to be. On the butterfly. And just sporadically. I don't even know if I'm getting them in the same place. I'm trying to. And I did one here. And then I did some little teeny tiny ones throughout, just on parts of the lattice in different places. I may not be getting these in the same place, but you get the idea. So we have those. And then I used my tweezers that I seem to have lost. Oh, there they are. And I used some of the itty bitty rhinestones from Close to My Heart. And I popped some of those in the center. Not really going on the white circles of the flower, but just popping some on. In various places on the card. I think right there. I think that's where I put it. That one don't want to pick up. I should have put these on before the Nuvo drops. Super, super simple. That one's done. I'm just going to let it dry. So I'm going to set that one to the side. Does anybody have any questions on that one? So I don't get them mixed up, I'm going to move this to a different area in my craft room so that I don't touch it. So we have the dry one there. Next, let's do the sister's birthday card. And on this one I use the Nuvo Jewel Drops, and this is Iceberg Blue. They dry clear, like almost like rhinestones. Oh, thanks. My hand is doing good. The job is going excellent. I love it. So lots of different things going on. My foot's better. And I'm just using, these are just foam, pieces of foam for a shaker window. The inside usually gets thrown away, tossed away, but I'm using them for my, instead of my dots, trying to use some of these things up in my craft room. They were sitting there, so I said, why not use that and get rid of it? So I'm putting my sentiment on here, and it goes over, I used a teal, but you can do whatever colors you want to do this in. Teal cardstock. So I've got that popped up. And that's going to go here. But first, before you put that on there, you need to decide where you want your birds and your flowers. And I've got extras in the file for this, guys, so that they're mirrored. I already used some of them, so I don't have ones that are mirrored. This one's going the opposite way, so we're going to do this one a little different than I did the other one. I'm going to come to this side for this one, because I didn't print enough for me, but I did for you guys. Got that one. I was going to print some more today and forgot it to do the inside of my card with. And, oh well, it happens, right? No. I forgot to print them. I knew I needed them, and I just forgot it. But you can do that. It's not going to hurt anything. So I'm kind of feeding this to the back of this one. I just want to make sure of where it's going to land on my card. And you can hang off the lattice here if you want. It's not going to hurt anything. But I don't want my sentiment to show through. That's what I'm trying to avoid here. Okay. So that looks good to me. I'm just going to flip this piece to the back. And then I'm just going to glue that onto the sentiment. Try not to be as messy as I am. And then I'm going to glue the tail of this down on the top. And you'll see why I'm doing it this way here in just a minute. Does this one go the other way? Yes, it does. Okay. So just decide where you want them, and that looks good to me for this one, so I'm just going to hold it down. And I'm going to go and lift it up and just put my glue on top of the lattice piece. Now, if you want to use pop dots back here to pop some of this up, you can. I did not. You just want to be careful that your glue is not coming through to the back side and gluing it to the back, okay? That's the only thing that you have to be really careful of on this card. All right. I bent his beak. I did use a marker and go around the edges of my birds. I did not do it on my flowers, but I did my birds. This is a Natural Patina, number 361 by Nuvo. And all I did was just go around the edges of the cardstock just to give it a little pop more of color. If you want to do that, you can. You don't have to, of course. And this one, I'm just putting a little glue on his head so that he is positioned where I want on the card here. Making sure it's not hanging off the end. There we go. So that is like I need it. And then, actually I did 2 flowers on this one like this, but I only have one, so I'm going to deal with it. I'm not going to cut those because I'll use them on another project, or the envelopes. So I'm just going to bring this one in here. That looks good. No rhyme or reason, it looks good, I'm going with it. So most of it's glued to your sentiment. Okay, and now I'm just going to go right here and do 3 dots of glue on there so that we don't get glue everywhere on the inside of the card. We're going to glue that down. Then I'm going to lift it up, and that's where I'm going to glue down my loose edges. That way it's all on the top and not inside. Just little dots of glue. That's all you need. How easy was that? Now, if you mirror them, like I said, I've got them in the file and I already set them up and mirrored them, you can bring them in, and what you're going to do is line up the piece here to the piece that's here. So it will be opposite and upside down, and then you can glue it together and it will look like it goes all the way through and it's not blocking the holes. Okay, that's how I did that. And then I glued the bird down, and what I did is I held him in place and looked on the other side to make sure I wasn't filling the hole with him here, that he was landing on this lattice piece. Okay, so pay attention to that when you're gluing to the inside, because I still have to cut my other pieces. Like I said, I'm going to put one here, here, and here to match this, so that when you open it up, it kind of looks double-sided, if that makes sense. I just forgot to do it, and then it would also go same thing on this one. And then once you have that done, you can go in and decorate with your Nuvo drops or rhinestones, whatever you have. And I'll do one over here. And I'm going to do this one different. I'm just going to pop some down. Maybe a little one there. So put your Nuvo drops on any way that you want. Those are the jewel, the translucent ones. They'll dry clear. They're a little cloudy here. You can see the difference. They're a little more vivid and clear on this one. Anybody have any questions on this one? Hey, Jacqueline. So that takes care of those two. Let's set this one to the side. I'll glue all my inside pieces and everything once that dries. These are going to be for the envelopes. So if you want to cut extra, I did not put extra in for envelopes, but I don't cut a lot of my envelopes anymore in Design Space unless I'm using a pattern paper. I just use a pre-made envelope for my cards, guys. So now you guys have 3, because this one I didn't put together on camera because of all the foiling and stuff. But you do have that one. I did release it on the profile today. I didn't post it on Patreon, but it is on the profile. So then we have this one. And I forgot to tell you guys, on that one, the Nuvo drops I used were the vintage drops in Bohemian Teal on that card. I knew I was forgetting something with that. So this one is really, really cool. Like I said, I used the debossing tool. On this one, I used tiger stripes. Now, when you take it off of your mat, you want to take it off gently. Use your spatula. It's going to make it easy because that debossing really makes this part stick, and it can make it a little bit weak. You don't want to bend it, okay? And then I have the post in there that I used tiger stripes on this one because it covered more area and wasn't as concentrated. But I really wanted that, if I can get it in the camera here, I really wanted that concentration of that wood grain look on my cardstock here. And I debossed just the regular AC white cardstock, 80 pound, and it came out great. I mean, it looks fantastic if you could see it in person. I was afraid that it wasn't going to emboss enough or deboss enough, and it was perfect. So you're going to bring this down on the post. You're just going to line it up, and this is going to give your front of your card base strength, okay? Where we weakened it up from cutting all these holes, this is going to strengthen it back up. Plus, it's going to give you that fence look, okay? A little dent right there. And then you can turn these, because it's got like a knot on it for the wood. You can make one to the top, one to the bottom if you want to. That's the way I did mine. And this is going to curl when you take it off the mat because the debossing was so concentrated, it was really adhered to the mat. And you want it even at the bottom here. It's supposed to come up higher at the top. Okay? Super, super simple. And I lost my, oh, there's one. I lost my dragonflies. There's one. There's one of my flowers. I don't know where my other dragonfly went. He'll turn up. It's probably in the box with the rest of that. So this is the vellum piece. I printed this on vellum so I could give a nice finished look. And this one is curled up. Yours is not going to curl that way. I used my brayer to put my vellum on my mat, and I didn't wait for my vellum to get dry enough, and I smeared ink. So I had to use alcohol to take the ink off of it, and it curled it up a little bit, but we're going to flatten it out right now. And I'm just putting 4 little dots of art glitter glue in each corner, and then we're going to line that up to the inside. And when that dries, you won't see the glue because it's against the white paper. The art glitter doesn't really show. You have to look really, really, really hard for it. And that way your sentiment is hidden, not showing in the fence down here. And when you sign it, you still have room up here to sign it. But if you don't care if it shows down here, that's up to you. Okay. And if you want to put another color card panel back here, you can. But I think it takes away from the card itself. And then happy birthday. I did pop dot this up. I'm just going to use some of my foam tape. Make it easy. Hey, Deborah. That's okay. You can catch up. Don't put it on upside down. Did you see that? I almost put my sentiment on there upside down. Okay, so we got that on there. And then I put my stems on next. And again, this card you have to be careful about where you glue. So I just kind of glue the tips. Oops. And see, I missed right there. So don't let it touch the inside. I'm just going to open this one up and work this way. That way I don't glue it to the front of my card by accident. Because I don't know where it's going to land on here. All right. So we got those on there, and now we have to build the flower. And if you've got your design space open, it's really easy. You can see which pieces go to which, because I get them confused all the time. And I'm just going to put a little dot at the base of this piece. One's small, one's large. That's the large one. And then you have 2 of these pieces, and one's small and one's large. So, super easy to tell them apart. And then I'm just going to glue the top there once I get it positioned in place, because it's supposed to leave like a little opening right here. And then, of course, this one's going to come out different because I placed it different. That's okay. think I do want it to touch the top of that. So in that case, I'm going to do a little thumb square on the top. That cutout in the fence is giving me an issue. Okay. That should not show through, I don't think. Yay, it didn't. That glue did, though. So now I'm going to put a little dot of glue at the bottom to glue that down. Just going to hold it a second. So many different ways you can put this together, guys. Different flowers. And then you have this, I call it the V piece. You have that one, and then you have this bigger one that goes this way. Just going to put some glue on the bottom. And it's just going to peek out over on this side. And then we'll glue on the bottom here, and then this piece goes in. And they had this set at 4 colors. I didn't want to have that many colors in there. If you want to change that piece to a lighter pink in between that pink and this pink, feel free. I just didn't go there. I was like, this is enough colors for me. For if you've got a little scrap or something, that's one thing, but I don't want to cut a whole sheet to do that. So you're just going to layer those up. And then I'm just going to glue this whole back. Right here. I want that one to tilt a little. My dogs are being vocal if you can hear them. So now we've got that. And next you're just going to put on your dragonflies. If I can find the other one, that will be great. But if not, I'm going to have to cut another one. Oh well, since I don't have it, I like to put one here. So you can put one here, but I'm going to put this one here since I only have one right now. And again, I just used art glitter glue. I glued these flat down. I didn't pop dot these up. And then I used the glitter, the Nuvo glitter drops, and this one is Midnight Sky. And it likes to give me a problem sometimes, so I'm going to make sure it's squeezing out. There it goes. And so I've got a little bit of glitter on there. I just did 2 on the dragonfly body, two drops. I didn't do that many. And then you can, I'm not going to squeeze all of these out because I have to put my other dragonfly on here. So I plan to use these cards. But you can scatter your drops out. I kind of did like a trail doing from one dragonfly to the other, so I'll do a couple of them here. And until I get my other dragonfly, I can't really do all of them. So it's like trailing up to the dragonfly there. And then after you get everything on there, sporadically do it. And that one will complete that. Again, I'm going to stop here until I get my other dragonfly on, but you can see super easy and fun. And again, with this one, guys, you can recreate this in many different ways. Let me pull that one up and show you guys in case you have any questions. You can change this and make it whatever you want. So to create a card like this, basically all you need to know is slice and attach. Super easy. Slice and attach. Those are the main tools for this one. So I'm just going to get Oops. You can see here I did that. Didn't put my squares in, did it? So I'm just going to get a couple of squares here to show you so I don't have to undo anything. But let's pretend this is the card front. I decided where halfway was, and then I divided it up. And I have, I think, a 2-inch top here. And then I made these a 1/4 inch. So I would change my square, would unlock it, and change it to 0.25, I think it was that I did. I have to look. But I think I did a 1/4 inch on these. So 1/4 inch, and whatever the width of the card is. Okay, so this is 6.417, so let's just do it at 6.417. This is the easiest way to do this. You're going to decide where your half of the card is, and then you're going to come down from that 2 inches. So let's just say that that's my 2-inch topper there. I duplicated. Let me change the color of that so we can see them. There we go. So, arrange to the back. So I decided where that 2-inch topper was going to be, and I did use my positioning tool to make sure that I had it absolutely correct. And then I left like a 1/2 inch space in between. And so I just duplicated all of those, giving it a 1/2 inch in between. And once I had them all, because I'm not going to do all of them here, I aligned to the left or right, doesn't matter, and then grouped. And you're going to line everything up. That is really in my way. You're going to line everything up, leaving that space at the bottom. I wanted mine to have a 1/2 inch at the bottom and coming up to the top. Once you've got enough of your lines, you want to align and distribute those vertically so that they are exact. And then you can group them, attach them, combine them, weld them, doesn't matter. And then you're aligned, center it horizontally, and then you can subtract or slice. And that's going to leave you with this. And that's all going to be in one piece because you sliced. You're going to get another square. Oops. And I made my post a 1/2 inch wide. I do remember that because I wanted them to be able to take the debossing. And I wanted them to come up above my last cutout. So whatever you decide on there, just bring them in. And you want them to come to the bottom of your card. This is the bottom. You're not going to cut out the bottom of your card. And decide how high you want your post to be. Once you have that, you're going to duplicate it and then bring one in. You're going to align bottom, and you're going to, again, combine them, weld them, unite them, however you want to do that, and then you're going to align bottom, align center horizontally, and then you're going to duplicate. I should have duplicated it before I actually welded them, but that's okay. And then you're going to weld. So that's going to give you that fence look. And then these are the pieces. I'm just going to contour it because I welded it and pretend that I didn't weld it. So then you're just going to duplicate that for your 2 posts to be on the outside. And this is where you're going to attach your debossing lines. I took these, and you can see that in there, I just attached them. I didn't worry about them being in the cutouts or anything. I just attached it, keeping it down below the card topper, and then I put the ones on my debossing. I put that and made it fit. I just sized my debossing image to the size of my post, which was 3.5 inches by a 1/2 inch. And then I attached it and duplicated it. Super, super simple card to create. You're just attaching and slicing. That's all there was to that card. Okay. I'm not going to save that. I'm going to go back to my stuff. And we're going to put the other two together. And those were a little more tricky to lay out. So if you have questions about the next two that I do and how I laid them out, I will save those for another lesson so that we can get these put together. Does anybody have any questions? So on this one, you have your base. If you have them, just ask. We're here. I used a wood grain image, and I changed it to DeBoss Dream. That's exactly what I did. Changed it to DeBoss. So I've got my card base here, and then I have a couple colors of cardstock. And guys, I'm just going to use my tape runner on this just to save some time so we get to the next card. And I'm just going to line up my panels, and you can choose any colors you wanted. I wanted woodsy outdoors for this, so I used some greens, and I guess you would call that haystack color, hay color. And we're just going to place those two panels right down on top of the base. Nothing major so far. Trying to get that straight, even though I'm using tape runner, I still want it straight. These two pieces I used, remember when we did the chip bags and I said you'll use your debossing tool if you or one of these crimping tools if you have it. You'll use it a lot. And I just crimped this piece horizontally. Crimped that one horizontally, and then I crimped this one vertically. I guess it depends on how you're looking at it. One's horizontal, one's vertical. So then I have my two pieces, and I use my little chip bag thing for that. And then I used my foam tape on here just to give it a little height. Using glue on these, once you crimp them like that, sometimes you don't get enough glue in the area, so watch for that. And we're just going to line that panel up here. Yay, I'm glad you guys like those cards. They were fun. And we got some on this one that wants to turn loose on me. There we go. And I kind of overlap this one just a little bit. It doesn't matter. That doesn't have to be straight, guys. Play around with it. I forgot to get myself a piece of ribbon here. And this is, I'm just using, I believe I got this at Michael's. I believe. But it's like a burlap type ribbon. And I kind of just went in and snipped away and made it ragged on the edges. You don't have to do a whole lot of cutting because it'll come apart, because I wanted it to look raggedy on the ends. Okay, and then you, of course, have to measure it. And do the same to the other side. Doesn't have to be identical or perfect. You want it to have some variation. You can make it as long or as short as you want. I think I'm going to go right about there with it. And I did use foam tape on that as well, just to make life easy. You may want to use red line tape if your foam's not sticking to your ribbon. Yes, this is foam tape. This is like a really thin foam tape. You can get it at Michael's. So we've got those on there. And then you've got your reed. Now I did use a Copic marker. This one I used was YG95, Yellow Green 95. Doesn't really have a color, does it? Pale Olive. Pale Olive is what I used. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, guys. It's tiny. But it's YG95 Pale Olive. And I went around the outside edges of my cardstock on this because against that, those white edges do not look good. So make sure that you're taking care of that and coloring it with you can use any marker. It doesn't have to be a Copic marker. Any marker that is close in color, some kind of green. It doesn't have to match perfectly. You can see that it kind of faded out and gave it some different dimensions and different colors in there. And it's really cute. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see it's all messy on the back side, but it looks great on the front. Gives it a little bit more interest to the card. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Gives it more interest. I'm using these round ones here just so I can maneuver and get them in here in different spots. I think that's enough. I don't know how high up I went. I know I glued the tips down afterwards, but I used foam dots to stick it down. I'm just going to find a place where I think it needs to live and pop it down. And then you can leave it loose if you want, or go in with your glue and just on the back of your cattails you can glue those down. And I glued them down just so that I didn't have to fight it putting it in an envelope. And this one here. It makes life easier when you're putting that in an envelope. Of course, you can always put your piece of vellum or another piece of cardstock over the top. You can crimp it and put it on the top so it slides in and out of your envelope. I've shown you guys that trick before. That would be cute. And then I did these, and I just glued these down because the card had enough height with the tag. So I'm going to put one here. And these would be cute debossed too, but I left the pen on them. So, and I made one come down lower than the other. How you position them on there is totally up to you. I want it to come over. I want it to come over that ribbon though. My ribbon's a little higher on this card. That's okay. And a couple of foams on here. And then I placed it over the oars. I have lost some of my pieces. Where's my canoe? Oh, this isn't good. I know I have these pieces. Oh no. All right, well, that's just really weird. I had all these pieces inside this card when I sat down here today. And now I'm missing pieces. Oh no! I'm gonna have to oh, there it is. There they are. They fell out in my tray. There we go. All right, and so the canoe, what I did here was I put some glue on the front of it, like so, and placed it to hide the bottom of the reeds. I didn't really want to see those. And then I angled it down towards the edge of the card, but staying below the oars. And you can let that dry, and once it's dry, then lift it up, because you don't really want to do it with it wet, because you'll probably pull it off like I'm about to do. Maybe not. And then put your foam dot down here so that it sits level on the card. There you go. Now we have our boat, and just to top it off, we have a cute little frog. And I did him on print and cut, so that you wouldn't have to worry about the pen for that. He came out really cute. And again, I went around the edges with my marker. Make sure that when you're doing your marker on these guys, that you do it with the pretty side away from you, in case your marker slips. You don't want to mark. Marking the back side is one thing, but you don't want to go across the front of your design. So always, when you're doing your Copic, put the pretty side away from you while you're doing it. How cute is that? Super fun. Father's Day card. Really easy to do. Really easy, easy, easy. Use some of those tools in your craft room. Now, if you don't have the crimping tool, here's a tip. If you look at cardboard boxes, they come in different colors, okay? And if you can find those that are kind of thick, you can peel that top layer off, and sometimes it will peel off clean and give you this kind of look, and sometimes it won't peel off clean, but they still look great. Even if it's not clean, it gives it some texture and some dimension to your card. I did one a few years ago like that, and it was really, really nice. Everybody loved it. So you can use cardboard and peel it off. I don't think Cricut still sells the colored corrugated anymore, but I still have some, but I didn't know if you guys had it, so I went with the crimper instead. I'm catching up on chat here. Yes, Dream. It comes in different thinner. Now these little dots that I'm using here, I got these from Close to My Heart. They come in sizes from Close to My Heart, but you can find them on Amazon too in the thin. This is a sheet from Amazon, but you get a variety of sizes from Close to My Heart in one pack. All right, you have some of the Cricut corrugated. You might find some colors in there, or you might use a different color profile than I did, Dream, and you can use that if you don't have a crimping tool. So here's our little tennis shoe card. This one was super easy and simple too. So you got your base, and you're going to fold that in half and set it to the side. Then you have just a white dot. Now here's the thing about this, guys. I know a lot of times you say that's a lot just for the print and cut, because the only print and cut in here is the little tag, okay? That's the print and cut. But if you look at the file, and I'm going to show that to you guys really quick because it's important. This will make 2 cards because you can do birthday, whatever. You can hide one if you don't want to do 2. But this file makes 2 cards. And if you look, I'm going to change the color of the canvas so you guys can see. Here is your print and cut, and it's going to look funky when you hit make it. But instead of doing a print and cut just for these two little bitty pieces, and we needed all of these white pieces, I flattened them. You can't flatten just a white card because there's nothing to flatten it to, or the circles. So what I did is I duplicated it, aligned it to the center, and flattened two identical pieces together. Then I duplicated that. So that when you hit make it, it's going to look weird, but trust me, it's going to work. This is what you see. And it's going to print and cut those, but it's also going to cut all of those little pieces all on one mat. And you don't have to have an extra sheet of paper, because with two cards, those index pieces won't fit down here. The card fronts that we're going to use won't fit. So that's why I put them up there, because they will, and I attached everything so that it would make life easier for you and you won't be wasting your paper, and you still get your print and cut out of it. Does that make sense? So when it cuts, this is what you get. Okay? Here's how it prints. I just printed this on copy paper so you guys could see it. And then this is what cuts. So you get everything out of there in one mat. So a little tip or trick for you guys when you've got just very little print and cut and you know you need some other pieces of the same color. Makes life a lot simpler. Now I used eyelets on these and I missed on that one. You can see it's not really straight, but I'm going to use it anyway. They are marked with just a little circle with a pin in the file. Okay, and that is just so that you can cancel that. That is just so you can find the placement. It's probably not going to show because it's in black, but you can see in the file two little black pin marks, and that's going to help you line these up. If you don't have eyelets, these are the two pieces that are going to go on there, and that's so you can line it up, get it straight. Okay, if you do have eyelets and you're going to use them like I did, you need to come in here and go to this weld result. I didn't rename it. You can rename it. And you'll want to change that weld result, just that. You'll want to detach it and change it to cut. So it cuts your holes for you instead of a pin mark. Okay, so just change them. I can change the color of them. Maybe that will help. Why is it not? What is going on there? I'm not sure what. Oh, there we go. I guess because I've got multiples. It's not. Oh, I bet it's picking that one. Anyway, you can go in there and you can change the color of them right there. Change this so you can see it. How about that? Now it's not giving me. Oh, because I subtracted maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I've got it set up for blue, but you can do these in red. On Pinterest, there was one in khaki. I saw them in yellow. I saw them in green. So you can do any colors that you want to do. But those little pin marks are to help you line it up. But if you're going to use the eyelets, change those. You'll have to detach it and change those to cut. For whatever reason, it's not letting me do it. So it's just a super simple, easy design, and it goes together really quick. So I've got my eyelets in there, but I didn't want that white card to show through on my eyelets like that. I didn't want that because that just looks like two white dots. When you're gluing the circles on there, you keep that dark blue. So I just cut a scrap of my cardstock off and glued it behind my eyelets. Okay, just to keep those inner circles dark where the holes were at. Then, here comes the fun part. You're going to take these little what were these called? They used to make these that they were sticky, and they were for notebooks. Reinforcement rings. That's what they were. Reinforcement rings. You're going to place those over these holes, all 3 of them. I've got extras here because I messed up and had to cut my print and cut again because it wasn't aligned right, and it really looked bad with the circle. It wasn't in line. This is a really fun card. I got too much glue coming out. Make sure yours is neater than mine. And I'm just using my tweezers going inside and letting it line my circles up. I'm glad that dries matte and clear. And again, if you're not using the eyelets, then you're just going to glue your 2 little circles right here. Now I cut an extra star because I wanted to pop dot mine up to give it some dimension on there, on this print and cut. So I'm just going to pop that on. And I'm going to line up my star right on the top of that. And then we're going to glue that down here. Super easy. Now I have an actual shoelace because I got extra laces with a pair of tennis shoes that I got. And you have a little strip here you're going to need. But you can use ribbon. If you want to use ribbon, you can use ribbon. But I like the shoelaces. And with that, you're going to need some Scotch tape. That's all I used. I didn't use anything major. Just going to get the sticky off my hands here. And I knew that would happen. There we go. Just going to let it hang off the side of my table because I'm going to be using it. So I'm going to cut just a piece of Scotch tape, and I'm going to take that shoelace and go right into that first circle, like so. And we're just going to tape it down. And I'm going to make sure it's straight at the front. And I'm just going to snip it off. Get another piece of tape. And again, make sure that it's going straight. Just fold it over to the other side. And tape it down. And you're just going to repeat that with these other 2. I didn't measure anything. Like I said, I just used the shoelace that I had. It doesn't take much of it at all. So that's why I didn't measure anything. I've got enough here probably to do 3 or 4 cards with 1 lace. So tape that down. Come to the front. Make sure it's nice and straight. Tape it down. And then the last one. And you're going to need some foam tape on this one as well. No need to worry about all the little fuzzies or anything like that, and they're not going to be seen. I'm just going to now we have those taped. You used the corrugated for the paper cup on that for a birthday card. Yeah, I bet that was cute. Love to see it. All right, so we've got that. And again, I still got enough to do. Another couple of cards here. All right, so we're going to take this, and I have these little foam. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have these. You can use foam squares, whatever it is that you want. I get these from Stampin' Up, and they're just strips, thin 1/8" strips of foam tape. That's all they are. You can cut down your own if you want. If you've got the wide stuff, you can just cut it down. And I'm putting one on each side there. This just makes life simple for me when they're like this. I want that to go all the way to the end. It wasn't quite long enough. And then I'm going to stick one in the middle here. I'm not putting any on that end. And then I'm just going to put a piece here to keep it from sagging. And then I'll save that for later, for another project. So once you have those on, you're just going to peel your liners. And this lines up. Don't stick to it. I was going to say, I just line them up at the bottom and make sure that they're good at the side. And then just press it down. Super easy. And then you want this little piece. And you do want to use wet glue on this because you need time to move this. If you're really good with red line tape and you can stick it and not have to maneuver, then go for it. But it goes, you're going to leave just a little 1/8" gap. That's why I say I need glue so I can move mine. And it goes edge to edge. I needed to wiggle that extra glue off. Do I have it straight? It looks straight. Maybe. Get it on as straight as you can. How cute! And then you're going to glue that to the card. Make sure you got it on the front though. Now I don't want to glue it to the back. How stinking cute! You're a shoo-in. And I did use the white gel pen. You can use silver if you want. Whatever you have. Does anybody have any questions about putting these cards together? So you guys, in the last week, this week, so far you've gotten, let's see, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, and I'm about to release another one tonight. So that's 7 cards that you guys are getting this week. I forgot my Nuvo drops on this one. This one, I used Olive Branch, and these are just the crystal drops. And you can do these any way you want. I think I'll go small to large here. 3 here. And when those dry, I know those look a little cloudy on that, but when they dry, that olive branch, they dry really nicely on that olive green cardstock. Let me set that to the side or I will mess up my drops. All right, and the last one that I'm going to release today, and I'll show you guys a little sneak peek. I just had finished it. It's another birthday card. And let's customize. This one's going to be done on craft cardstock. This is going to be craft cardstock. I haven't decided on my color panel. Right now I have it set for a dark brown. This, I've given 2 choices of card fronts, and they are set on white because white doesn't print a color, but I am going to print them on craft cardstock. And then again, I have my panel here. I'm going to crimp that panel with the crimping tool, and this will also be done on craft cardstock. So these are the print and cuts. You'll just choose one or the other depending on which one of these card fronts you want, with the swing and the bicycle with them laid back, or her standing on a swing. I think this is a little boy. I think this is a little girl. Doesn't really matter. But this one has a bicycle in it and this one doesn't. So, and I've left a note in here. I will take photos and post those up for you guys because I knew that we weren't going to have time to do it tonight. So this one's coming. All I have to do is turn on my Cricut and get it going. As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn it on now before I send that over. But that's coming out. I'll post it in the groups. If you're on Patreon, it's going to be public on my profile, so I probably won't post it on Patreon, but I might. You never know. Depends on what time I get done. Does anybody have any questions on any of tonight's cards? I think we caught up because I wasn't able to go live last week, so I think I caught up with the files. Oh, you're welcome, Deborah. If you guys have any questions, again, if you need any of the products I used, you can get them on Nuvo Drops from Tonic, from Amazon, from scrapbook.com, and you'll find those on my link tree. Just go to my link tree. You can find everything. The crimper tool is on Amazon. Cardstock, it's going to be Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Cricut. What is it? AC, Cherry on Top. A Cherry on Top. They carry it. So different cardstocks. Used a lot of different stuff. Close to my heart, Stampin' Up. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will post as soon as I know when I can go live again. I think I have to work next Thursday. So as a matter of fact, let me check my calendar. Let's see. No, I am off June 1st. So we will be live on June 1st. I will be live next Thursday. So watch for that posting. I'll get it posted up as quickly as I can. Thanks, Marianne. Also, I'm going to have some recorded tutorials coming out for special stuff like DTF. I know we spoke about it a couple weeks ago. Some DTF with the DTF powder on inkjet and sublimation. So look for that recorded tutorial. That's not something I'm going to do a class on, but I will do a review of the products that were sent to me and tell you what I think. Yes, everyone have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend and stay safe. Catch you next Thursday.